Order, and let me start by wishing everyone a healthy and happy new year. Ms. Harley, principal at Crop High, will you please lead us in the pledge? Just step up to the podium.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I ask the city clerk to call the roll?
Mayor Weissman,
Here.
Vice Mayor Shelley, Commissioner Cohen,
Here.
Commissioner Holtzberg,
Here.
Commissioner Landman, Commissioner Narotsky,
Here.
Commissioner Weinberg,
Here.
Mr. Soroka,
Here.
Mr. Wolpin.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager, are there any deletions or additions to the agenda?
We have a correction on item 5I, which is the request of Turnberry Plaza Limited for final plat approval. We're adding a revision to the condition. If the city clerk, if the city attorney would read into the record the revision.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. The recommendation portion is updated to read that it is recommended that the City Commission approve the final plat named Turnberry Plaza for the Aventura Hilton Hotel development, subject to the following condition. The applicant shall provide an executed declaration of restrictions in lieu of unity of title and easement and operating agreement joining the two tracts of the plat in a form satisfactory to the city manager and city attorney. The declaration and agreement shall be recorded in the public records of Miami-Dade County prior to the signature of the plat by the city. That component requires recordation prior to signature of the plat by the city, whereas previously that document was going to be required prior to site plan. And the description is updated to state that the application for administrative site plan approval purposes that both the office and hotel share site access, surface, and structured parking spaces. Explanation is provided as part of the item consent agenda update that the declaration of restrictions in lieu of unity of title and easement and operating agreement were originally contemplated to be provided as a condition of site plan approval. However, these documents will need to be provided as a condition of plat approval to ensure that the plat will not create a nonconformity on Track B. So if the Commission approves the item as part of the consent agenda, this update will automatically be included in it without the need for further direction. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a special presentation at this time. I will join the city manager.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to recognize one of our department directors who has achieved a milestone of 15 years of employment with the City of Aventura. Karen Lanke, would you please come forward? She's our Information Technology Director, and I don't know where we'd be without you, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you very much for all years of service.
I don't know what she was doing here. 15 years, wow.
Well, I'll say the few words for her. It says a lot to the leadership provided by our city manager that our people stay in this city as long as they do, and we thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda. Matters included in the consent agenda are self-explanatory and not expected to require discussion or review. If any member of the commission would like to remove an item from the consent agenda, please let me know now. No items were asked to be removed. Let me ask for a motion for approval of the consent agenda. Commissioner Shelley made the motion.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioners Cohen and Holtzberg. Can I ask the clerk for a roll call vote?
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Holtzberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Landman?
Yes.
Commissioner Narotsky?
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley? Mayor Weissman?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, can I ask for an approval of the minutes?
Motion.
Commissioner Landman,
Second.
second by Commissioner Narotsky. Are there any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. All right, we now move into our quasi-judicial public hearings. I'm going to ask the city attorney to review the quasi-judicial proceedings to read the resolution to be considered at the quasi-judicial public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. We have only one item tonight under 6, quasi-judicial public hearing. The quasi-judicial statement is hereby incorporated into the record. After I read the title of the resolution, the city clerk will swear in any persons who desire to offer testimony on this quasi-judicial item. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, granting approval of a multi-tenant center sign graphics criteria for signage at Aventura Park Square, located on the south side of Northeast 207th Street, between Northeast 29th Avenue and Northeast 30th Avenue, and providing for an effective date. Mayor, at this time, if the city clerk could administer the oath to any persons who desire to offer testimony at this time.
If you will be testifying on this item, I need you to stand at this time and raise your right hand and be sworn in. If you have comments to make on this item, please stand at this time and be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I please have a motion for the approval of this resolution? Motion made by Vice Chair Shelley. Can I have a second? Second made by Commissioner Cohen. City Manager, do you have any comments? You'll defer to Joanne. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. I've been sworn in. I would like to enter the staff report into the record. The applicant, Aventura Land Ventures LLC, is requesting approval of a multi-tenant center signage graphics criteria for the Aventura Park Square mixed-use development on the south side of Northeast 207th Street between Northeast 29th Avenue and Northeast 30th Avenue. The development consists of a 10-story, I'll show you the location of the buildings as I go through on the plan. To orient everyone, this is 207th Street. This is Northeast 30th, Northeast 29th Avenue, and the Aventura Turnberry Jewish Center is right here to the south. So the development consists of a 10-story hotel in this location, 207 rooms, a 7-story general office building, a 12-story residential building with 131 units, 4 ground floor townhomes on Northeast 30th, and 4 levels of parking. There's a 10-story medical office building with ground floor retail, 3 levels of office and 6 levels of parking, and a 10-story assisted living facilities with 200 beds. There's also ground floor retail on the all buildings here and here. The approval tonight is requested pursuant to Section 31-191L of the City Code, which provides for City Commission approval of a written statement of uniform sign graphics for a multi-tenant center. This code section requires that the application include the color, type, style, and size of the signs proposed. It also provides that once approved by the City Commission, the sign criteria will apply to the entire multi-tenant center and will remain in effect for so long as the center exists, regardless of a change of ownership or management. Any change in their criteria from the approval tonight will require additional approval by the City Commission. So the application consists of a uniform sign graphics entitled Aventura Park Square Tenant and Site Signage Specifications and Aventura Park Square Tenant Sign Criteria Manual. Those are the two portions of components of the multi-tenant sign graphics criteria. Staff is recommending approval of both the tenant and site signage specifications and the tenant sign criteria manual that is attached to the staff report. I'll go through the signs if you would like.
Please.
The application consists of two parts. It's divided into two sections. The first location plan here shows you the wall signs for the two office buildings, the hotel, the assisted living facility, and the signs for the ground floor retail tenants. You can see that the sign for the hotel, there'll be one facing west toward Biscayne Boulevard, and one facing the interior east-west road. For the medical office building, the wall sign will be facing west to Biscayne Boulevard, and the same for the assisted living facility, one wall sign facing west. For the office building at the corner of Northeast 207th and 30th Avenue, one wall sign will be facing Northeast 207th, and the other will be facing the interior north-south road. The other signs that are shown on this location plan are for the ground floor retail tenants. Okay, and I'll show you a sample of those. This is a sample of the signage for the uniform signage for the retail ground floor tenants. It will be placed on a wooden panel above the door of each retail space, and the sign will be affixed to that raceway. It's a wood panel that spans the structural columns, so that signage will be consistent above each tenant's door. The signs do comply with the city code as to number and size. They differ from city code in that corner locations are required to have two signs, one on each elevation. The city code does allow two signs on a corner location, but our code is specific that the two signs are when a retail space has a frontage on two public streets, and in this case it'll be two private streets. The retail signs also differ from the city code in that they are mounted on raceways. Those wooden panels will house all the electrical components of the sign. Raceways are not permitted in the city code unless there's no alternative method to attach the sign. And they're also not, the raceways are not allowed by city code to be longer than the letters they support. In this case, because the raceway will span to the structural columns, they may be longer than in some cases, than the letters they support. And again, that's based on that code section where this application is made under. That is a discretionary approval by the City Commission. Aesthetics. Usually it's just a...
Commissioner Shelley, Vice Mayor Shelley, let's go through our process.
So these raceways, the wood panel will give a nice uniform look to each of those retail tenant signs. The window signs are also proposed in their criteria, again complying with number and size to the city code. They propose one permanent vinyl or silk screen sign, no larger than 4 square feet. That is a mirrored city code. The criteria manual, though, does prohibit temporary signs, which is a little more restrictive than city code. And then for the wall signs themselves, okay. I'll get this the right way for you. Here we go. This is the sample wall sign for the general office building at the corner of Northeast 207th and 30th Avenue. So they've shown a box where the sign can be located. Again, it complies with the size and design allowed by city code. That's the one sign for the office building that will face 207. And then they're also allowed by code another wall sign, and they've shown it here. This is the one that will face west to the interior road. For the hotel, this sign will face the internal east-west road. And again, code-compliant sign. This one will face west to Biscayne Boulevard. Those are the two for the hotel. For the medical office building, one is proposed, again, code-compliant size and style, facing west to Biscayne Boulevard. And for the assisted living facility, again, code-compliant size. On this one, it differs a bit from city code. It is located 70% above the main roof line of the building. And what the city sign code says is that signs are not permitted more than 50% above the roof line. In this case, if it was 50%, it would block the windows. And the next section is the proposal for directional parking, monument, and pedestrian signs. In red are the locations of the proposed monument signs. So one at the corner of Northeast 207th and Northeast 29th Avenue, and one at the main entry to the development on 207th. The other signs, though, there's two monument signs. In green are the directional signs. There's 10 of those. There's 19 parking signs, and that includes the signs over the garage, the enter-exit signs over the garage, and two pedestrian signs in purple, and those are the directory wall signs, the site maps. I'll show you examples of those. These are the monument signs. The city code permits two monument signs for this development. The city code size is 8 feet high maximum and 6 feet wide. They are proposing 12 feet high and 6.5 feet wide. They've shown us a conceptual. This is the sign to show you that the monument sign at this size that exceeds the city code really does fit the scale of the buildings and the development as a whole. So one will be here and one here. And that's the main identification sign for the major tenants. The applicant's also shown us, given us some pictures of some existing signs in the city. Some of them have been approved under this very same process. The hospital, 12 feet, 20 feet. This is Promenade Shops. This was a multi-tenant center approval at 20 feet. Another one at 20 feet, and that's the center at Aventura Boulevard and Biscayne Boulevard. This is the Aventura Town Center. Their main monument sign is 25 feet. The one on the 187th Street, 20 feet. Aventura Mall is at 15 feet, the two at Aventura Mall. So what they're demonstrating here is that the signs that they're asking for at 12 feet are really compatible with the existing sign environment in the city. Next is directional signs. There are 8 of these proposed throughout the development. They range in size from 12.5 square feet to 30 square feet. They're all at 5.3 feet high. They do exceed what is normally allowed by code, which is 4 square feet and 3 feet high. The additional sign size is proposed so they can get all the text that they need for the buildings and the parking garages on site. The other directional sign proposed is a 9-foot sign that's a changeable copy. That's something that's not contemplated by the code, but it does show the availability of parking spaces in the parking garage. These are on the internal north-south road and are not visible from the public right-of-way. This is the sign that will be at the medical office building. And this is a sign that will be at the residential garage on the internal roadway. Next are valet directional signs. These are temporary and can be moved to certain areas as the valet service is required at different buildings at different times of the day or year. And these are the garage identity signs. This is the enter and exit signs. They are allowed by code at 8 square feet, and they're proposing 3.28 square feet, so smaller than is allowed by code. And last but not least is the directory sign. So this is attached to the wall. They have one near the medical office building and the other near the ground floor retail spaces, both on the internal road. The city code allows one of these directory signs per multi-tenant center at 32 square feet. The two that they're proposing are 11 square feet each, so 22 square feet for the total of the two of them, which is less than the 32 feet that's allowed by code. So staff is recommending approval of this sign graphics criteria for Aventura Park Square with the following conditions: that all signage submitted to the city for permitting will comply with the approved sign criteria manual and the signage specifications, and that this approval is granted exclusively to Aventura Park Square in its current configuration as shown on the approved site plan. Any redevelopment or reconfiguration of the development shall invalidate this approval. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, prior to that, let me ask if the applicant wants to make any comments. And please state your name for the record.
Evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. I'll be very brief because Joanne did a very comprehensive job. First of all, thank you all for your time. We agree with all staff's conditions. Oh, but Mickey Marrero, law firm of Burke, Howard, Dillon, Fernandez, on behalf of the applicant. What I would say is that the reason that you need a multi-tenant package for something like this is when you have so many different uses, so many different buildings, you want to have a uniform aesthetic so that it looks good. So one building doesn't look different from another building, and the signage sort of blends together. And additionally, when people, especially people that are visiting, that aren't there every day, they want to be directed to move smoothly through the site, in and out of the site. And by having the signs work together to guide people through the site and through the development, I think it'll help for a much smoother interaction in the site and around the site. So we think that Chris Rogers from Yazoo has done a fantastic job. We hope you all approve it. If you have any questions, our sign consultant is here, and we're here to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Let me at this point open the item for public comment. If there are any members of the public that would like to make a comment, I'll request that you come up now and state your name for the record. If you'd like to make a comment or address anything about the project, now is the time to come up and state your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity.
Could you please state your name and address for the
My name
record?
is Seymour Silver. I live in Villa Dorada, which is directly opposite this new building development. And I'm not standing here to complain about it. It looks like a very pretty development, and I wish it well. But one of the unintended consequences of this building will be a lot more traffic on 30th Avenue. Now, 30th Avenue has changed over the last couple of years. We have schools, we have children, we have school buses, and we have no way of slowing down the traffic. I know this is not germane to the putting of traffic signs up or building signs, but I believe that we're going to have some fatalities in our children unless we do something to quiet the speed of the traffic on 30th Avenue. I appeal to you to consider a traffic light or a speed bump so that the kids have a fighting chance. Thank you for listening to me.
And thank you for coming before us and speaking. Although this matter is not about the traffic, it is about the signage, so we have to really address our comments to the signage. Anyone else from the community at this point in time? Okay, then I'm going to close these items for public comment, and I'm going to ask the commission, do any commissioners have any questions or comments about this resolution? Vice Mayor Shelley.
Could I speak to this sign, gentlemen? Or Joanne, it could be either one, doesn't matter. I have a question. Due to the fact that there's two parts to this. The first part is, number one, maintenance. Due to the fact that obviously you have retail, you have high-rise, you have different facilities, there'll be a management company, I'm assuming, running this project. But how does the maintenance get taken care of with the various different types of signages, whether it be on the retail or the high-rise, et cetera? Is that the responsibility of management or the individual ownership of the buildings?
I'll ask the owner's representative to answer your question.
Thank you.
Please state your name.
Steve Sorensen with Integra Investments. There'll be a master association that manages everything exterior to the buildings, and that all tenants and all owners have to agree to when they buy or rent there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all handled by one entity, which is the master association.
And the other question, Joanne, is as part of the approval, due to the fact that this is going to be done in multi-levels of timing, will there be requirements for various types of directional, even so all the facilities and components aren't completed yet? Because some of the directionals will be directional to areas other than the completed areas. So what I'm saying is, you have high-rise, you have condo, you have retail, but the main cornerstones will be the directional for some of these areas, and yet all of them won't be completed unanimously. So will there be some kind of a chronological order in which time you have certain types of signage put in prior to everything being completed, so there is direction to get to them?
I'll defer again to the owner if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Good evening again. What I think will happen, what we've shown you is the final.
Correct. That's why I realize that, yeah.
So the code allows for temporary signage, and it's not like the timing is going to be that far apart from the first building to the last building. So during that period where you have one building that may be CO'd and there's another building still under construction, there will be temporary signage, like with any project, guiding you through the project as it stands that day. But not long after that, all the final signage will be up.
Okay, so there will be directional at all times?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other commissioners have any comments? Commissioner Weinberg?
Just a couple of comments. I think the signs look good. Directional signs don't excite me, but they're necessary. The monument signs look better, at least the conceptual looks better than the representations that we were given of actual existing monument signs. They look as good or better than most of them. And with regard to the tenant signs, I don't know, I've never heard the term raceway signs or what have you. I don't know why it's prohibited without a variance, but it certainly seems in these conceptuals to be very attractive, and the consistency is, I think, very important from tenant to tenant, where there's a certain look. And it seems to me from the diagram that the vast majority, correct me if I'm wrong, of those tenant signs are not even visible from the public streets. You would have to be inside the project in the development in order to see most of those.
That's correct, Commissioner, yes.
Okay. So I don't have any problem with approving the application.
Any other commissioner comments?
Just want to make one comment.
Commissioner Hulsberg.
I just have to tell you, Joanne, it was prepared beautifully, because I get it in paper, and it was a wonderful job. I want to compliment you, really.
Joanne, I do have one issue that I'd like you to elaborate on because it impressed me a great deal, and that's the parking availability digital sign. Knowing how congested the areas get, can you go into a little more detail on that? I thought it was a wonderful idea.
Yes, this is the rendering of the sign, and I'll get the location plan so you can see exactly where it will be.
And Joanne, while you're looking, basically, if I understood correctly, that as someone is driving, it would tell them that there's no parking available, so you're not wasting your time driving around looking for parking when
That's
there's
correct.
none to be had.
That's correct. And that changeable copy will be at the medical office building, which will be the first garage that you come to. So if you see that it's full, your option now is the other parking sign that will be here at the residential, underneath the residential property.
Thank you so much.
Mayor, let me just explain further,
Commissioner
because I've
Shell.
seen it in operation. They have it in some of the new buildings downtown. In actuality, what happens is as you drive through the actual garage itself, there's lights over every space. So you see there's a green light, it's available, so it's interesting that it works beautifully. It's an expensive opposition, but I think it's very, very commendable that they're putting something like this in. It does alleviate a lot of the traffic within the garage itself.
Does. Thank you so much, Commissioner Shelley. Any other commissioner?
So you are putting the green lights over each space?
Actually, what this works is just as a counter coming in and out. So every time a car comes in, it, deducts from the total available, and when one goes out, it adds one. So it doesn't do exactly what you're saying. I know the system that you're talking about. But this was a way, what we're trying to do is to create a great customer experience there, and we think that this is one of the ways to do that. But we are not actually putting the lights.
There was one of the diagrams showed something above the spaces. What was that then? I thought I saw something in one of the drawings.
That was the enter and exit signs at the entrance to the parking
Oh,
garage.
okay, that wasn't over the space themselves, then I apologize, okay.
Are there any other questions or comments from commissioners? Okay, then let me ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Holtzberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Landman?
Yes.
Commissioner Narodsky?
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Weissman?
Yes,
The motion passes.
thank you.
They had that.
Thank
We
you very
have-
much.
Thank you
Have a
very
great
much,
evening.
Mickey. We have no ordinances for first public reading this meeting, but we do have one for the second public hearing. I'm going to ask the city attorney to read the ordinance to be considered for second reading.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending ordinance number 2014-10, which ordinance adopted a budget for the 2014-2015 fiscal year by revising the 2014-2015 fiscal year operating and capital budget as outlined in Exhibit A attached here too, authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to carry out the aims of this ordinance and providing for an effective date.
Can I have a motion for approval of the ordinance on second reading?
Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Narodsky. Seconded by Commissioner Holzberg. I'm opening up the item for public comment. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak on this item? It is now closed for public comment. Let me ask if any commissioner has any comments or questions about this item. Seeing as there are none, I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Holtzberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Landman?
Yes.
Commissioner Narodsky?
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Weissman?
Yes,
The motion is approved on second reading.
thank you. Do any commissioners have any reports for this meeting? Seeing as there are none, I'm going to ask if there's anyone from the public that has any comments to make. Come on. Robert, come on.
Mayor?
Yes.
While Robert is coming down, I just wanted to announce that we're requesting further direction and opportunity to give a status input to the commission on the pending cases, Clark versus Two Islands Development Corporation and the City of Aventura, and the Williams Island property owners versus City of Aventura et al. We'll schedule those in coordination with the manager's office in connection with the January 21st workshop. But I just wanted to announce that upcoming series of additional attorney-client sessions on those cases. Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to it. Please state your name.
Robert Burrows, ADA advisor Regarding the library, I realize the library is this problem, but I just would say there are several problems. We have Dade County and and their architect is working on. It won't be finished for a good long time, but we are working on it. We had several complaints about the handicap access is not good. Handicap parking is not good. And we are addressing that. And I will ask you if you get any more complaints, see that it gets to me. Thank you.
Robert, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. Give us an opportunity to look into it, and we will get back in touch with you.
Thank you.
At this moment, I want to take some personal privilege and introduce to the commission the current principal of Michael Kropp Senior High School, Dr. Allison Harley. Ms. Harley's been at Kropp since the beginning of this school year, but she's very familiar with the neighborhood, having served in other schools that service this area.
Hi,
Are you
thank you.
related to another teacher at Kropp?
Yeah. I
No,
get that
she's
a
not
lot.
related to Michelle
I'm
Russell.
not related to Michelle.
Allison, do you want to give us an update on Kropp or share some of your background with the commission?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me here. Ms. Weissman has sort of been a mentor to me and kind of, I think, is the reason I'm here. I was an assistant principal at Highland Oaks Middle many years ago and got to meet Ms. Weissman when she opened Kropp. So for me, coming to Kropp was always kind of a dream job. My career kind of took me around the county, and I was last at Palmetto Senior, which is kind of a rival of Kropp. It's a great school. Ms. Landman knows me from there. And the reality is people say, well, why did you leave Palmetto? Palmetto's a great school. For me, coming up as an administrator in the north end of the county, getting to Kropp was like a dream job. And it's the first time I ever asked for a job, and it's the first time I ever actually got what I wanted. So I'm super happy to be there. I'm very proud of the school. You guys are very, very lucky to have a high school of that caliber serving this community. And so with that, I just want to tell you how proud I am to be there. In terms of what's going on at Kropp, Kropp is always a dynamic place. It's kind of a 24/7 school. We are very, very proud as we continue to grow our outstanding visual and performing arts magnet that you may be aware of. Anytime you need a performing arts program, we have the best one in the county, and I'm actually proud to say that we were just asked by the superintendent to provide all of like the centerpieces and all of the artwork for a very huge Magnet Schools of America, a national conference that we're going to be very well represented at. And it'll say Kropp on every table, so everybody's going to know where it came from and that your children are the ones who helped create it. We are continuing to grow our Academy of Finance and our Academies of Tourism and Hospitality. We have a brand-new, well, it's in its second year, AP Capstone program, which is kind of the College Board's attempt to battle the IB program, the International Baccalaureate program. We're very proud of that at CROP, on top of just everything else that goes on every single day. I don't know, I know it was publicly proposed, it's proposed, let's knock on wood that it gets passed, but at this point we are proposed to be an A again for this year based on our scores, and that's kind of something to be very proud of in this time when the DOE has changed cut scores and everything's kind of all over the place. I'm sorry, I talk with my hands, I'm from Miami. But we're very excited that we're going to remain an A. Of course, we continue to do that hard work every single day. The school is at 2,700, which is smaller than when Ms. Weissman was there, but still kind of a considerable little city within itself. And I don't know if this is the time to talk about it, Ms. Weissman, or if you've brought it up, but we're very excited that in the next 2 years, and I believe 2017, we will be opening a 500-seat iPrep annex of Michael Crop, and it will be the only other standalone iPrep in the county, in addition to the superintendent's iPrep in downtown Miami. So that's kind of quite an accomplishment and also something that I think will benefit the community very well. Other than that, things just keep rolling along at CROP, and again, I'm very proud to be there and proud to be back. I kind of joke with everybody, I'm back home because this is where I started my career as an administrator, so thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing with us. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Could I make a statement here under number 11, public comment?
Yes, I asked for public comments and I closed them because no one said they wanted to speak, but I'll make the exception. Please come up. Just state your name and address for the record.
My name is Norman Reish. I've been a resident of Aventura for the past 20 years. I live at Terraces at Turnberry, 191 East Country Club Drive. I have the honor of playing poker with the ex-mayor Arthur Snyder and Terry's husband, Harry. That's about all my justifications I have of speaking here, except they're the most two argumentative people, and you can't play poker with them. Couldn't anymore. Anyway, it's a point of information that I like to know. The council the city of Aventura is now pursuing the appeal for the red traffic light project, correct?
Let me refer that to the city manager or the city attorney.
Thank you. The public comment portion of the agenda is for the public to give input. It's not a forum for answering questions. There is an appeal presently pending in the red light camera program litigation, but because it's a pending appeal, we're not free to discuss that in public. But if you have any input, we're happy to receive your input.
I want to ask you one more question then. Are you representing the city in this appeal? Or is it been put out to a separate law firm with an RFQ?
No, our law firm, Ed Geddes, my partner, handles the red light appeals, and those are presently pending. And the council is considering continuing this appeal when you're creating a havoc in traffic and building in the city? Why would you want to do that?
As the attorney said, we welcome your comments and your statements, but it's not a time when you question and answer our attorney or us. So please, if I'm hearing you right, you're very opposed to this.
When can I pursue this with the council?
You can call the city manager any day.
And what, sit down with him?
I'm sure he'd schedule a meeting with you.
Okay. Appreciate your courtesy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, then may I please have a motion to adjourn? Move. We did it? Did we vote?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is over. Thank you.